Welcome back to the Benoit Motors Podcast. So excited for you to be here. Jason Benoit's in the house today. Normally we start off with jokes and stuff. You have any jokes?
Not today, baby. Not
like
today.
Joel Osteen? Like
no.
You got a Joel Osteen joke?
I sure don't.
All right, so this one, this is, I don't know, fourth, fifth episode, but this was probably the biggest one that we're gonna do.
Yeah, this
one.
We got some serious news here, and
stay tuned to the end. And so let's go ahead and jump in it. So let's start with let's go back however far you want to start.
Obviously, we've been here enough. Abbreviated version. We were very successful. Built our business for 3 years. Grind. Like with anything in life, there's some ups, and with every up, there's a down. I realized that I took a new medication the other day. It fixed one thing, it breaks the other. With everything in life that you do has a counterbalance, right? So,
pull this down.
Some counterbalance in my life is when I was sleeping at the dealership, building the business, broke. All those good things. It was some fulfilling things there, but I missed some key family moments. And I would say back in 21, I kind of, or 22, I kind of I quit working quite as hard, kind of jerked back, focused on the family, marriage, all that stuff. Needed to happen. It's tough for me, to balance both. It's always been an extreme problem for me. But nonetheless, fast forward, we had, obviously our building burned down. That was a tough thing. And so
that was December of 23, correct?
It was November the 18th of 23.
November.
So just to kind of get with, that's where the community knows the Ford store burned down.
Right.
We flirted with some things, at the end of the day, and I want everybody to listen to what I'm saying. I'll do most of the talking for this podcast because there's a story I want to tell.
Okay.
And I want you to intervene anytime you feel like you need to.
I'll ask some questions if
I want to. There's a story that I want to tell a community that's really important to me, which is Beauregard and Vernon Parish.
Okay.
So I showed up in Beauregard and Vernon Parish, and really thinking that was going to be my last flip house. You know me, I flipped houses. While I was also in the car business. I definitely created that thing a position to flip and make a lot of money, but what I wasn't planning is to fall in love with the community like we did. So our plans as a family changed to this isn't a flip house. This is our final destination. I was looking for 100 acres to have the whole dream family compound in Beauregard Parish, and trying to buy the last couple of dealerships for sale in DeRidder, was my dream, and obviously being a young man in business that generally gets his way when he works hard enough at something. I didn't get my way in that scenario, and I kind of got punch drunk about it. We've talked about that in the past. And so kind of maturing through that brought us to the point of what's next. And we were trying to figure out what was next and what the plan was going to be. Were we going to, then the building burns down, right? So as soon as the building burned down, in my emotions at that point in time, it was like, I'm rebuilding this Ford dealership in the south of town in everybody's face. And, I was all arrogant and had a lot of emotion still left over from that previous transaction. As my emotions settled, I started to realize financially that I needed to look at all the options, and rebuilding at the current location would save me $3 million minimum. So we
rebuild
where it was. It would save me $3 to $4 million minimum, right? Gotcha. So you start dealing with emotions and where you want to build, and then you start, like, that settles. You start looking at math, and then you start looking at market territory, because I genuinely feel like Beauregard Parish is now saturated with car dealers. Mr. Hickson's having to build a couple. He and I have spoke. He got what I didn't want, but it's nonetheless, right? He's just a guy doing his thing. There's going to be a bunch of them there. And our Ford store, one of the reasons I feel like it's been very successful is because it's located between two markets, not necessarily in the middle of one.
Gotcha.
So my arrogance.
What's your two markets that you were in between?
Let's say Leesville and DeRidder.
Okay, those in Rose Pine.
Yes,
okay,
gotcha. Rose Pine is between two markets that really enable us to pull a lot from the north market versus if I went south of DeRidder, would those people come? So, in business, you start doing market studies and looking at different things. And so we're in the process of all of that. And then I really decided, it's in my best financial interest to rebuild at the current location.
Okay.
So that decision was made. But through that process, I would say I decided in January-ish to February to March, I decided, okay, everything cooled down. This is where I'm going to want to build. Okay, this is not where I want to, but this is The pros outweigh the cons
the right
here.
spot. Yeah.
So we're just going to go back and do business the same way we have before, and it's going to be a new building. Start working with the Ford. Insurance did great. Some weird deals happened with the fire. That's a conversation for another day. But the insurance did great. They paid out our entire claim. So no, it's not that we haven't gotten insurance. Just people are people.
Right.
So the entire claim has been paid out with the exception of business interruption, which is a part of the claim that runs for a long time. And we were very well insured. So start dealing with Ford on the requirements to rebuild. And something happened that is what I want everybody to pay attention to, because this is where the story is going to get kind of tricky.
Okay.
Probably about 2 months ago now, I was talking with the people at Ford about that, where I decided to build. And
you're talking about, when you say the people of Ford, you're
Corporate.
talking about corporate
Ford.
Okay, is that Detroit? Is that where those guys
Yeah, it's
are?
in Dearborn, Michigan. But
Okay,
people that I don't talk to. As a matter of fact, the person that I was dealing with, I've met in person one time ever.
Okay.
And so, Ford's overall, we see this on the news all the time. How dealers are going away and all these scary things, right? So,
Right.
Ford,
Going to like that online thing that everybody talks about.
well, the manufacturers can't take our dealerships from us, and I can see you watching the clock, and we'll figure it out. Manufacturers can't take our dealerships from us because we own the franchise, and the state law dictates that. And that's one thing Louisiana is very good at, is we're very fortunate to work for a good motor vehicle commission, and we have good laws that protect our business owners and especially in the car business. But Ford manufacturers want to have less of us, right? So when I started talking to the architect phase of things on how to rebuild, I got a call. It was, if you're going to spend 5 to 7 me rebuilding, is that something that you want? And the answer is, it was kind of scary. I mean, not that we had the money to do it. We had insurance and all that. But heck, I had $1.5 million in my Ford building before.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if I had insurance paid me or not. Now I got to double down. And so they said, you don't have to do this, but we want to make you an offer. And Ford made me an offer. They said, we really only want one Ford dealership between the Vernon and Beauregard Parish market, which makes sense because honestly, there's too many out there.
Right.
We were the bigger Ford dealer for a while, but you can only have one that's selling a bunch of cars because in that area there's just too many, right? It's a saturated market. So they only want one, and so but they can't forcibly shut anybody down. So I think they look for opportunities to make offers that make things make sense.
And the
for
fire
people.
was one of those things.
And so I got a call one day that I wasn't expecting. It was about 3 weeks before I went to Europe, and it was, hey, if we paid you X, would you terminate your Ford point? Terminate is not selling it to a dealer, not selling it to the guy down the road, not selling it to the other guy. Ford Motor Company wanted to buy it from me and close it. So listen, everybody, this is the part where people will start running all around with trying to figure things out on their own. Well, the number that they offered me was much more than what my store is worth. So it caught my attention. And so that was when it was really gut check time. And I started to think about what I want to do in my life. I've kind of checked the boxes for me. Mm-hmm. I have a son that's graduating law school. Actually graduates this week. He took his last final yesterday. And he wants to come run my business for me. So I didn't want to take the Ford offer because that was my big flagship. So I turned the deal down. Mm-hmm. And then Ford,
I remember that phone call.
I turned the deal down at that time. And then like 2 weeks later passed, I got another call. And I'll just put it to you this way. Ford made me an offer that I just couldn't refuse financially. So I was back at the table thinking, yeah, but is this my purpose? What am I going to do with Jace, my son? What am I going to do with these other scenarios? What am I going to do with these employees? And it hit me. I said, you know what? I'm not ready. If I was ready to get out, I was like, I'm going to go all the way out or not out at all. Yeah. And it was a trick because I don't want to go all the way out, but I didn't want to turn down this crazy offer, right? And I still have another Ford store in North Louisiana.
Right.
I have another one. So ended up the way I called the local owner of the Dodge Chrysler Jeep store in DeRidder, Mr. Hickson. And he and I just had a very pleasant conversation. We've had 5 or 6 conversations. They've all went well. He's that store up north, the Hickson Ford store would have a lot to benefit from me closing my Ford store. And they had a Dodge store. And honestly, I have one as well. So I told him about the situation with Ford, and he said, "Man, that's a great deal," And I said, "Well, I don't want to get out of the car business." So we came up with the truths.
Yeah.
I'm taking the deal from Ford, so they will have the only local Ford dealer. But he's given me the Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram franchise in DeRidder, so I will have the only Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram franchise.
So he'll have the only Ford.
So he'll have the only Ford, and
Okay.
I'll have the only Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram, and then of course, we have Nissan
And he's got some other ones too.
some other ones. So we've done that, as well as had the opportunity to get to know one another and establish some gentleman polite business agreements that are just going to make doing business better and make the community more, the whole situation just more pleasant. So that I finally signed on that deal Friday. Today is Monday.
So it's done deal.
It's the first domino has tipped when I finally signed it. So we'll have 30 to 60 days of winding up our Ford franchise. So we'll have that long, probably for sure 30 days, to make sure if we have any special order parts for customers that we're able to get that handled. We want to make sure, that we're just doing anything that we need to do. And the reality is, after the fact, we're still going to be in business, because the company that I own, that owned that Ford store, that company is going to stay active at the same location. It's just going to be now the second Dodge Chrysler Jeep store that we have. It's going to be the local Dodge Chrysler Jeep store.
So where Ford was.
We're about to break ground probably in about 6 months on a brand new, nice Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram facility. And right there in between DeRidder and Leesville in Rose Pine, right on the county line to service both parishes, we're going to have a very large Dodge Chrysler Jeep facility. We're doing a Nissan 2.0 facility renovation on our Nissan building, which would be about $1 million lipstick on the building, new signs. We're going to renovate the front of our accounting building and make a very nice auto mall, install a car wash, quick lube. We're going to have a very nice auto mall in that area. And then in Leesville, and then at that point in time, when we're finished with that construction project, just as Ford has one Ford dealership now, which, it's not mine, which stinks, but we will have the only Dodge dealership, because I will have 2 Dodge dealerships functioning until my construction project is complete. And when my construction project is complete, we will have one large one that services both communities from the middle.
So what's the quick lube is, because you're still going to have service for Dodge.
We are. We're going to have service. Yeah, we're going to have service for
Dodge, Nissan.
We're going to have Nissan and Dodge service, but in the middle of the two, we're going to build an express lube and a car wash.
Oh.
So those are just things going on. So like I said, we bought that 20 acres south of DeRidder to build some things that we're not going to build. That's okay. It'll sit there for a while. It's a great piece of land. We have Wilmart in Leesville that, while all this construction is going on, it will get a makeover and rebranded to Benoit. And at that point, when we pull out of the Dodge building on Frontage Road, the Wilmart building will be our Benoit customer service and sales location in Leesville in the Walmart
There's
parking
no
lot.
Service there.
No service, but we will actually, our Leesville customers, we will provide drop off and pick up for service at that location on your way to work and things of that nature, and our staff will take care of things. Our central location is going to be between the two markets, where it always was in the original location. We're doubling down on that property location with a big capital investment, and the city of Rose Pine, or the town of Rose Pine, is giving us some other incentives to try to encourage us to stay there, and that's what Benoit's going to look like moving forward.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Okay, so if someone, because y'all just blew out 2023 Explorers at 0% finance, and just blew out the 2023 F-150s at 1.9, they just bought that car. So where do you want those people to go? Because,
we're going to take care of all of our customers.
Okay.
Some customers are like to be firsthand with their stuff. I'm one of those customers. If something's wrong with my car, I might want to go see the service writer and a technician myself. We don't want our customers defecting from us at all. Your salesperson will have staff that will take care of. You can drop off, receive loaners at our location. We're going to take care of people. And
you're still part of the Benoit family.
You're still part of the Benoit family. And understand this. I still am a Ford dealer in North Louisiana, which means that if I have a local Ford, if you have a Ford here, and I'm going to send it, Clint and I, the Hicksons and I have a great relationship now. We're going to do the same thing for their Dodge customers. They'll do the same thing for our Fords. We're going to take care of it. If there's ever a problem, though, of course, we got great relationships with Ford dealers down here. Mike and King and Jeremy and them are great people, good relationships with them. I own a Ford dealership 2.5 hours up the street. So I still have the contacts. We'll still get you fixed up. We're not losing the Blue Oval. It just won't be in Beauregard and Vernon Parish like it was. And other than that, guys, my son is going to probably by the end of the year, I've heard a lot Jason's retiring and all these things. I ran my race, bro. Like I'm young. I'm always going to do something. I'm always going to be involved in the game. I'm always going to oversee things. But my son, Jace, when he gets out of law school, as soon as I have confidence in him, he'll do my job, and I'll work through him from home and come to the dealership. Hopefully by 2025, I'll have some other things, because you got to realize, if my son takes to the car business, we're not retreating. That's what everybody needs to know. We're not retreating. The storehouse of wealth that Ford just offered me, which is not, it was something I just couldn't turn down. It's not going anywhere. If my son likes this business the way I liked it, that I could buy 4 dealerships with the price that Ford paid me for the one.
Right.
So we're not going away.
Yeah.
That local market in Beauregard and Vernon Parish just has too many car dealerships right now. And if Clint would have built the Dodge one and I'd have built another Ford one, that'd have been 2 extra showrooms.
Yeah.
Employee. We had good conversations, and we made a deal that made sense to both of us. And it was an emotional, tough moment for me, just because Ford was the one that I built personally.
Right.
But I have a plan. I mean, I'm up for a new challenge. As soon as Jace gets there, I'm going to show him how to flip a market from a Ford market to a Ram market. and we're still going to be the number 1 new car dealer in Beauregard and Vernon Parish. We're just going to do it with Ram and Jeep and Nissan. And I just know that like I'm sitting here right now. It's not going to be a problem at all. Watch.
Yeah, and if you go back and watch one of those episodes, I think it was episode 2 with me and Chris riding around, we were riding in one of those Grand Wagoneers. That's a fine vehicle.
I got one outside. It's the daddy. That's my
Oh, yours came in?
Yeah, mine came in. Yeah.
And so anyway, I do think, if you watch those episodes, we've been riding around some Dodge products, and there's some great vehicles there. And Jeep's always been a...
Well, the thing is, let me just tell you, I've been doing this for 25 years or whatever. Most of them are very equal. Some customers are just certain brand. The first Ford I ever bought, I joke about it, was August 1st, 2018. I bought 100 of them on the same day.
I remember whenever you drove it, though.
Like I'd never owned a Ford. I didn't think they were bad. It's just my daddy taught me to drive Chevrolets.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Like I had another, and then when the Dodge Ram came out in 1994 with the new front end, my dad had Dodges. So you drive my favorite lineup of vehicles that we sell. Mm-hmm. Now, understand, it's all about affordability. Nissan's the best that you can buy for the value that we own. I genuinely love the Nissan product. But the Jeep SUV lineup has everything from compact, cheap stuff all the way to $130,000. I'm driving a $130,000 Wagoneer out there right now. Now, I don't pay for that stuff. It's here, and until one of y'all buy it, I'm driving it, okay? But they have everything from the little Jeep $25,000 brand new,
right,
all the way up.
I forgot what the name is.
They just have everything in Jeep.
They got the Cherokee, which is more of like the Explorer.
They got it all.
The Wagoneer.
They got it all.
Yeah.
My son is driving. I gave my son a Jeep, a Grand Cherokee 4xe for his law school graduation. He can plug it into the wall, or he could put gas in it if he runs out of gas.
It's a hybrid?
It's all three. It can run on gas, hybrid, or it'll run 50 miles just on the batteries.
Really? Oh.
I mean, the Jeep product is amazing, and I'm about to show it to the community. Trust me, we're going to show it to the community. And if you're still brand Blue Oval, we love you too. We got a Ford dealership.
Yeah, I got you.
But understand that that's not going to be my primary objective. I mean, we have a Ford dealer local, and I'm not going to try to be nasty and dirty. But if somebody wants to buy a Ford from us, They can,
right?
But we're going to do what we do, which is we're about to be we're going to try to be the number 2 Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram dealer in the state. That's our objective. We're going to accomplish that, and then our Nissan store is going to double down. We're going to invest in some infrastructure. We're going to continue to invest in the community. We're going to do what we do.
Awesome.
And everything's great.
Yeah.
And so, not to just ramble, but that's
Yeah,
that's what's going on in Benoit world.
And so, I'm glad you're doing this. Get ahead of any rumors that may pop up. And so, when is this going public?
Well, I signed everything on Friday. I had everything prepared a week before, and I remember I told my team about it, and I said, if Jesus doesn't show up and manifest himself in the flesh, I'm going to sign this in a week. But I wanted to make sure that I slept on it for a week, and it was the first peaceful. After that offer got to where it was I had really struggled. It was like I'm telling you, the last week I've slept like a baby. And before that, I was wrestling torment, anxiety. What do you call it when you can't sleep at night? It's
insomnia.
Insomnia. It was crazy. I was struggling with these choices. A lot of really big choices. A lot of moving parts, a lot of big moving parts. But I like where it landed. I like that we're going to stay in Beauregard and Vernon Parish and double down with probably a $7-8 million capital investment in Rose Pine. But we also will continue to look for opportunities to expand in the car business. But it's not going to be the Beauregard 100-acre Benoit plan.
Right.
There's a new lane now after that, and if we stay in the car business, we're attacking other markets in the state.
Gotcha.
That's the plan.
So if people have any questions, is this still deal?
Yeah,
with
we
the
still
dealer?
have deal with the dealer. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Obviously, I have a team of people that help tackle those things, but I see every one of them, and I'll talk to anybody that wants to talk to me. Yeah. I'm at work, open to close, really on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. I'm kind of piping down to that. And the rest of the time, my wife says I work 7 days a week because technically my job can be done anywhere, and so I'm always on my computer or on my phone. But
gotcha,
guys, we're the real deal. We're just getting started. You're about to see a lot of Jeeps and Rams and Nissans on the street in your neighborhood, so you just assume get out in front and be one of the first ones.
By Benoit.com.
That's it. Benoit 2.0 coming soon.
Oh, here comes the branding. Ready for it.
Benoit 2.0 coming soon. Ain't going nowhere but to the top, baby.
Is that the catchphrase right there? Nowhere to the top.
Nowhere but the top.
Nowhere but the top.
I don't know. I just rambled it.
All right, marketers, let's go. Here we go. All right, well, thanks for joining us on this episode. Again, if you have any questions, deal with the dealer Tuesday to Thursday. Come by. Door's always open. So anyway, glad you could join us.
Thank you guys very much.